All right, everyone. So again, welcome to our discussion tonight. We have a very exciting program lined up for you all in attendance. It's a little bit different than your usual panel of alumni to talk about networking and job searching, or as we're going to discuss them today, as really hunting and farming. We have one very special guest with us, Mr. Alex Song, who's here to join us. This is a CAT School graduate of the class of 2019. And today, the aim of our discussion is to talk about the similarities and differences between job searching and networking. So before we begin, kind of want to do a little bit of a preemptive discussion of how the night's going to go. So once we get introductions underway and we define for you all what we mean by hunting and farming as it relates to job searching and networking, we're going to have a dialogue, Mr. Song and I, about different aspects of Mr. Song's personal experience with networking and job searching and different aspects of it as he navigated through undergraduate, graduate school, and thereafter being a professional in his respective field. It's not necessarily a specialty-based conversation to an industry, though his lens will be based in his industry. It's more of a dialogue to get these ideas of networking and job searching a little bit more demystified than they usually are, as well as try to incorporate as much as possible on what's both current and impacting us right now, as well as what's mainstay for job searching and networking. So really what we mean by hunting and farming is the idea that a job search in many ways is a job hunt. The trophy that you get from it is the opportunity that you earn. And networking in many ways is similar to cultivating resources. It's not necessarily that you are seeking a trophy or a given singular opportunity, but more that you search for in your contacts that you build over months and years and through your careers, opportunities to find support and resources through said network. And so that's where the idea and caveats come from as far as hunting and farming are concerned, and how they may be similar as far as the goal of finding an opportunity, but they are different in their execution. So without further ado, I would like to give Mr. Alex Song an opportunity to briefly introduce himself and share a little bit about his profile with you all before we start to talk about the topics for the next 25 to 45 minutes. Thereafter, we'll do a brief Q&A with our audience submitted via chat, and then we'll proceed from there. So Mr. Song, you have the floor.
All right, cool. Thank you, Matthew. Hi, my name is Erin. My name is Alex. So just a brief introduction about myself. I moved to New York in 2018, start the full-time program at CAT School, data analytics. So during that program, I just actively looking for internship and doing pretty much 2 internships each semester. So after graduate, and then I get offer from my current firm, which is working on hedge fund operation side with multiple clients. So now I'm currently just like working from home while just like working yeah. I think that's pretty much about myself.
Terrific, sir. Thank you very much for sharing. So first thing that I want to discuss with you today is what is on many of our students' mind, if not all of our students' mind, is the job search, right? So
yeah.
In your experience and opinion, what would you consider to be the essential components of a successful job search?
Essential components, I would say probably the most important part is your resume. I would normally add it at least 5 to 10 times for my resume, trying to make sure it's look very professional and get people different people have different opinion. Just trying to make it the best resume, and then before I apply. So that is one part of component. Another part would be apply it every day. Just I would probably apply 200 companies or 300 companies every day. Just not just a one specific role, and more I would build my customized resume based on different position, and then I just apply. So, and later on when the company have more interest on me, they probably invite me for the interview. And then I would just like spend some time to look the company, do some research. They're probably the most efficient way to do that.
Gotcha. Okay, so it seems like you went for more volume than anything else as far as job search. You were going for quantity of places that were receiving your resume, that were considering your candidacy. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I would say yes.
Gotcha. So when it came to that kind of strategy and establishing that quantity would work for you, what was that process of determining you needed to apply with such volume in order to find opportunities and then earn opportunities?
Uh, this is great question. I would say the volume definitely very important, but I also trying to see some job, some position like a I would say high quality, because that
Mhm.
position I would say I'm very interested. Also is best fit to uh, my portfolio or my resume. Then I will spend some time to do some research, and also that gonna bring into a second topic. I will do more network. If I see that position, I will reach out to the company and then add them on LinkedIn, and then reach out to them and then ask them a bunch of questions also about the position.
Gotcha. So you were doing it as part of your job search. You were conducting some informational interviews with people who you could get in touch with. Am I getting you correct?
Right, correct.
Gotcha. So were these parts of the job search as far as perfecting your resume, making sure that you sent out a high volume of job applications, and then thereafter networking and trying to get to know companies? Was that always a part of your process, or was there a time where you didn't use these tools in your job search?
Uh, I would say that is part of my job searching
Hmm.
components. Just like one part, I probably would spend 2 or 3 hours or 1 to 2 hours, really depend on my schedule, and then and then on top of that, I would just like spend another 1 to 2 hours doing my network. So pretty much every day I spend at least like 5 hours to during the time while I'm looking for a full-time position.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. So before you had attended the CAT school, you had been at other institutions and had earned your degrees elsewhere. So as far as looking for opportunities for yourself and seeking to create opportunities in job searching, how would you say that your strategies changed over time from undergraduate to graduate school?
Yeah, like for undergraduate, I pretty much working at college. I was
Mhm.
doing some business tutor job, and on top of that, also I had some internship and like volunteer internship. I'm trying to like accumulate my professional experience as much as I can, and then
Mhm.
later on, the reason I I got enrolled to CAT school because I see there's a very good opportunities. First reason I would say the New York, they have so many opportunities here. And second, I would say the clinics, which will open a lot of doors, like not only in one industry, like multiple industry, you can do anything for that.
Gotcha. So was it always your plan in undergraduate school to consider getting additional degrees and credentialing in order to break into the career that you wanted to get into?
No, it wasn't my plan. I thought like at the time I finished school, I thought probably much easier to get a job, but I didn't thought it gets so difficult to get a full-time job,
Hmm.
and that's kind of like part of the reason I moved to New York. So
Hmm.
because I know that New York big city has more opportunity, job opportunities. Also, that program, that master program, will definitely make myself more competitive between.
Gotcha. Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, sure.
So as far as shifting a little bit into networking as it relates directly to the job search, you mentioned that you had done some outreach to companies, sometimes before, maybe even sometimes after, so that you could do informational interviews. How did you determine when it was the right time for you to reach out to these companies during the job search?
Uh, I would say I do that pretty much every day. Doesn't matter if they do have an open position or not. I just
Mm-hmm.
reach out to people. Like I would set up a plan, like reach out 10 people every day. And then
Mm-hmm.
those 10 people working at that industry or that company are doing this type position. I would just like ask them. I'm just very interested. I would do some research before I reach out to them, let
Mm-hmm.
them to kind of like you know, people would respond me. I saw that way people would respond me compared to you just like send the same message to everyone. So that's kind of like my strategy. And then later on, I'm not asking for a job. I just like asking for a conversation, trying to learn about that person, also learn about what he has been doing. So, and then I will just keep contact with that person and then ask a bunch of questions and also introduce about myself.
Gotcha. So it seems like you do a couple of things in that outreach, right? So as
Yeah.
far as introductions, sharing about yourself and what you've researched, how long did it take you to learn and find? Because when I speak with a lot of students, they kind of may be a little apprehensive in doing that outreach because they don't necessarily have the experience doing it. So how did
Right.
you develop that method, and where did you find that you were most successful in using that method?
Yeah, sure. At the beginning, to be honest, I just use same message to everyone. I would send like 100, 200, add 200 connection on LinkedIn. But I feel
Mhm.
like it's really inefficient,
Okay.
and because I didn't get many respond as I expected. And
Mhm.
then I thought that strategy is not good. And then I start to thinking about like some other, do some research, see a little bit strategy, like learn about other people and then learn about what he has been doing and then switch to a different strategy, just test out. And then I feel another strategy working better than the one before. And then I just like stick with that one.
Gotcha. So by the time that you got, as far as networking as and finding contacts where it is that you sought to make your way in your career, how successful do you feel you had gotten since then?
I would say I'm kind of like seriously doing network like 5 or 4 months before I graduate. And then
Mm-hmm.
during that time, I just like practicing and also test out which strategy working better, also connect with more people. And then after I graduate, about 3 months or 4 months, because during that time, I'm just like full time looking for a job. I have a lot free time. I can focus on what I'm doing, spend more time. So that 3 months probably most efficient 3 months.
Understood. Okay, so your progression seems like it went from going for, like you mentioned, job searching. Job searching, you went for high volume, right? A
Right,
lot of
right.
different applications, a lot of research involved in that as well. But when you did volume for networking, it didn't really pan out with the efficiency by which you were practicing it, right?
Right.
So when it came to job searching and networking together as you understood them, how is it that you took networking and understood that you couldn't necessarily just ask for a job and instead ask for a
Yeah.
conversation? Did you have experience where you were doing the former and you were asking for an opportunity and it didn't work, or they said something to you about that?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can share some with you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for example, at the beginning, as I mentioned, I pretty much ask everybody for a job, and then most people they will respond, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them they respond. They will say, uh, "Reach out to recruiter." I would suggest reach out to recruiter, and also they because I'm just like blindly to send the message. A lot of time people they actually not in that department. You just like send to the wrong person. I just didn't like pay attention about that because I'm just like send a high volume message to everyone. So and also people respond will say they don't even know you. Why they will ask they will introduce you to that position. And then that's kind of like my experience later on. I realized you had to let people know you first, and then they will, and then I just like change my strategy, and then have a few phone call with the different people, let them
Mhm.
to fully understand me. And then after the few phone calls, they will ask you, do you need me to refer you? Like they will say like your background sounds great fit to this position. Like,
Mhm.
would you like me to refer you for this position? So you don't even need to ask them.
Would you say that your goal for what would you well let me back this up a little bit and
Yeah.
rephrase. What would you say that your main goals as a professional now that you're underway in your career, what are your main goals for networking now that you're establishing yourself in your career and you're not you and now you don't need to share if you don't want to, but you may not be looking for an opportunity right now. So if you
Yeah.
are periodically networking with people, what is the goal if not to look for opportunities?
What's my goal for not like what's my current goal for doing network, right? Is that the question?
Yeah,
Just trying to clarify.
outside of the job search, like if you consider networking to be separate right now for your job search in many ways because you may not be searching. So when you're not searching,
Yeah.
are you still networking? And if so, what are you networking for? What's the purpose?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually like I would say like networking probably is the most efficient way to kind of like get another job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing network, but like the volume definitely lower than before. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do some like a high quality, which means I will just constantly to reach out the people who I reached out before, trying to
Mm-hmm.
ask them like how's going recently, trying to also update myself about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I'm trying to reach out people like, for example, if I want to get a job as different position, different company, I would definitely reach out to people who already in that industry had years experience. I will
Mm-hmm.
reach out to them and then ask for a phone call. And then I will know, like later I will know definitely, maybe they will refer me, but it doesn't matter. At least I know what's going on in that industry. And if they know there's open position, they definitely reach out to me.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you sharing. So,
Yeah,
uh,
sure.
shifting gears a little bit more back towards job searching.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges that you had encountered and overcame when you were job searching or even internship searching? Because many students who are attending now might be searching for that next internship or opportunity. Before, during, in job searching change over time as you navigated from student to graduate student to early professional?
Yeah, like when I moved to New York, I got my first internship at my first semester. So that one, I got to apply by just like apply online. And then after a few months working at that company, I was able to network with one of alumni from CAT school. And then he actually introduced me to my second internship, which is working at a public accounting firm. And then after that, I just like after that I also get another firm, but for the my full time offer is what I actually apply online. But I would say if I didn't go through this internship, they probably won't consider me. And also I would say if I didn't do this like networking, I probably won't able to kind of like communicate well or just like the networking skill, they probably also pay attention about their product. They probably will consider me as well. So the networking definitely improve a lot, like on different aspect about myself. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. So, when it came to job searching and ensuring that you were having results to your job search, was any part of your networking involved with those essential components of job searching that you mentioned? Resumes. Some students are interested in sharing their resumes and don't want to be misunderstood as looking for an opportunity, but are looking for feedback. Have you any experience with reaching out to contacts who are new or who you know that have taken your resume and reviewed it and given you insight?
Ask a few people to look my resume. I'm trying to ask for the advice as well, and they, yeah, I do know one person. Actually, he's working in that industry. I'm really interested on, but I never ask him for a job. I just like ask him for help about my resume. So that I would say that probably one example for that question.
Gotcha. So was there something about the profile of this person who was in your network or some experiences that they've had that would indicated to you they would be a good person to show your document to, or even more so trust that you could share with them what you were working on? Or was there something else that made you feel confident in saying, could you please take a look at my resume and give me some insight as to how I'm developing it?
Yeah, like I would say, from my perspective, I would say if people are at higher position, like maybe that person is director for a certain company,
Mhm.
or like a very high level. I don't know how to describe this, but they maybe
Mhm.
they work there for 20 years, 30 years. I would say that those type person, they probably have a lot of experience on it. That's why my strategy about ask them.
Okay. When you were searching, did you ever consider contacting and networking with hiring managers, recruiters, anybody
Yeah.
who's it was their business to recruit? What was that networking like? And how was it different than networking from people who in any position were not in a hiring position? Was it any different in looking to them for knowledge and for insight as opposed to full-time professionals?
Yeah, I would say they both have the advantage and disadvantage. For like people who just like start the company probably 1 or 2 years, they probably don't know that much. Also, but the advantage part is they will have a lot of time. They will take your call if you ask for a call, trying to understand that industry. But if people are hiring manager or director level, most of the time, if you message them on LinkedIn, they will respond to you. But if they do, they definitely you definitely gonna have a very good conversation with them, and they will able to help you about your resume or reference in the future.
Understood. When it comes to managing what seems to be such a large network of contacts, when you are putting all of these notes together about when you've contacted them, how you know them, and compiling your information and managing that, what is your go-to tool to use to best manage your network and manage how it is that you're contacting and reaching out to these individuals?
Yeah, I just use simple use Excel, and then I will just set up different column like first name, last name, and the title, which company, and the email, phone number, also when did I contact, and also like what the latest contact about, also additional notes about what. So, and also I will follow up like after 3 months, I will just like send a email to from from my networking list, trying to update about myself, also trying to ask them how's everything.
Understood. Now, when you, as you're speaking about these skills that you have and your experiences with networking, it makes me think of, is this something that was inherent to you that you felt compelled to network without being instructed to do so by a career advisor or by a networking professional? Or was this something that you learned was important? Because it sounds like you kind of had a place where you almost always knew this was important, but I'm interested in knowing, did someone tell you that you need to do this, or did you just know from who you are as a student and as a professional?
Yeah, I think the reason I kind of like I know why it's so important. I just spoke a lot to people on a lot like different industry, and also I went to CAS Career Center. I I, I went there a lot at the beginning, just like ask for help about my resume. Later
Mhm.
on, just like more about job searching, different strategy, and and then they kind of like guide me to the direction. And then after I get the point, and then I start to realize by developing my own strategy and then applying.
Gotcha. Switching gears a little bit, now that you're a professional in your field, how are you being approached by college students, undergraduate or graduate, on LinkedIn? And do you find that many students understand how to network properly? Do you find that you're seeing a trend in how effective or ineffective that messages to you are in this outreach of people who want to make you a contact in their network?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely can share some of that. I see, I see a lot of people just like add me on LinkedIn, and then after like a few weeks, they never say anything to you. And also some of people they add on your LinkedIn, and then they ask for like a phone call. Most time I just like call them. I will share any advice can help them.
Mm-hmm.
And also some people they just try to learn about my industry, also learn about the department where I'm working on right now. So people just like reach out for different purpose, like they all trying to learn from there.
Is part of your conversation sharing about what is effective that you've shared today, where students may not know to ask you the questions that I'm asking you? Do you have kind of main things and main takeaways that you want to leave people with when they contact you, even though they may be contacting you for one specific thing?
Yeah, I definitely can share some advice about like networking. Cause at the beginning, I reach out people. I learn a lot from people who I talk to. I would definitely recommend student to try to reach out people on LinkedIn and ask for a conversation. A lot of time, you never know like what you're gonna learn. Also, there's some people even share some strategy with you. Like one of people person I reach out, he shares some great advice about the uh con- like connecting with people. Like he taught me like saying don't ever ask for a job. Like just like trying to make friends on LinkedIn, and then trying to just tell your personal life later on, like after a phone call, and then keep update your personal life. And then one day, maybe after 6 months or 18 months, one day that person probably reach out to you saying there's a position and it's fit to you, and then you just got that job. And also networking is not a short term, short time like a period. It's gonna spend take you for a while. You kind of like have to develop that as soon as possible, like building your own strategy, and then also your own networking list, and try to stay with these people, and then keep them update about yourself, because they would love to hear any updates about yourself. Also, they also would love to probably grab a coffee with you sometime. Yeah.
So a lot of it is, it seems like it's practical elements of it, maybe even the most practical element of it being timing. So how do you determine how often is often enough to contact people in your network, whether or not you're looking for advice or guidance? Is there a kind of like rhyme or reason to why you reach out over certain periods of time? Is there a good 1 month, 2 month, every quarter outreach period that you keep for yourself or that you would want to share with the group?
Uh, I don't actually have any experience about that part. I just like based on what I feel like. I just feel like 3 months or 6 months is a it's kind of like good amount of time. Like you don't want to reach out that person every month. That's probably sounds a little bit too much for them. And then
Mm-hmm.
also you don't have anything to share. Like maybe for now you ask them how's your family about during this difficult time. Maybe this like after 3 months, like you work from home, and then I will reach out a group of people. And I normally don't do that very often. That's just like for myself.
Understood. What would you say is your outlook now that we are navigating a landscape that's creating, in many ways, a new normal for job searching and networking? What are you doing in order to stay ahead of the curve as far as making sure that you can have an effective job search in the future, and even more importantly, continue to maintain your network and grow your network as we start to move towards a far more virtual landscape across different industries and fields?
Um, for now, I would say I would just like actively apply, and at the same time make more friends on LinkedIn. I would say people will have more free time compared to before, because like most of the people stay at home. They they probably looking for some conversation with someone. So that's just like how I feel. I have been doing that uh, from last past 3 months. I just trying to call a few person every week, not too much. It's really depend on my schedule.
Understood. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so what we'll do now is we'll transition over into questions from the group. We had a form that was shared by the networking club. A special thank you to the networking club for collaborating with us and sharing, most importantly, marketing this event to their peers. That was made this the attendance extremely successful. So I'm glad that we got the message out to them. So thank you very much to the networking club for facilitating the forum where students could ask questions. So we have several there, but if you wish to ask a question and you want to reach me directly, if you could please head to the chat in the Zoom and directly message me, Matthew Garcia, matthew.garcia@yu.edu through the chat, and you'll be able to send your question to me. I'm going to go through the first three and then any questions that get asked thereafter. So, Mr. Song, the first question is, should I be applying for jobs that don't seem to fall under what I really want to do?
Wow, that's a great question. That's actually my question before. Yeah, uh, I asked the same question to kind of like my mentor or different people before. They all kind of like have same answer. They said to me, just start something first, like get your foot in the door, and then later on gonna be open more doors to you, because you actually don't know, you never know, like if that position is what you're actually looking for. You just like seeing from outside, it sounds good, everything looks good, like fit for me, but when you actually get into that industry, you might don't like it. Cause for example, like in my industry, it's a very stressful and fast-paced environment, and every day kind of like you under the daily pressure, like have to dealing with different people, also do a lot of things under like a different time window. So I wasn't prepared for that at the beginning. I thought just like something else. I thought like some like a light pressure I can handle, but it is just like overwhelming to me at the beginning, but later on, but it just like takes time to get used to. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like my answer. You just like start something first and later on figure it out.
All right, thank you. So second question asked is, how often does someone really not do what their major covered?
Uh, Sorry, can you say that question again? I'm trying to understand the question, not really sure.
Certainly. So to me, it sounds like what the student may be asking is, how often would someone seeking to go into a career do that career in something that didn't align with what they were getting a degree in? So someone in math maybe deciding to do something unrelated to math, or someone who's in the liberal
All
arts
right.
going into business. So do you see that often in your networks, in your network, in your roles, individuals who have come from different studies and
Yeah,
disciplines?
I see that a few person were doing that, but but I would say I will ask you like if that is something you're really passionate about. If that is you can go ahead like pursue for that. If that is not, you just want to try it out, you don't have that much passion, you probably better to start something close to your background first. Later on, when you have like more professional experience, maybe easier to transfer into that industry.
Understood. Thank you. So final question that was submitted before we get into questions from the group attending is what kind of industries connect well that I should reach out to? What I interpret the question as is, are there industries or fields that are more inclined to networking online in LinkedIn or to networking in general in your experience or from the experience of your peers?
From my experience, cause most time I reach out people who in finance industry. This type of person, people they love to, I mean, have conversation with you. I really not sure about other industry like tech industry. I'm not sure about that, but for finance industry, definitely easier like to have a phone call.
Understood, understood. So we're finished with our forum questions. And again, the group is more than happy to send chat messages to me directly. I haven't received any yet, but while I'm waiting for some in the next few moments, as we wrap up, a couple of important caveats to consider that we spoke of today. And in Mr. Song's experience, his job search was very much important for him to have a volume of targets that he was looking to hit and opportunities that he was looking to take advantage of and earn. So on the job hunting side of things, Mr. Song was very, very encouraged on his own to seek a high quantity of roles. When he had used the same strategy for networking, it didn't prove to be as efficient as it worked for job searching. So we learned in the beginning that there's a bit of a divergence with how volume and quantity and quality work with job searching and networking. We then went on to have a little bit of a discussion about how you can use networking or should use networking as far as seeking knowledge and the opportunity to have conversations with professionals as opposed to asking for opportunities. Therefore, we naturally got into the conversation of how is it that you can talk to certain professionals who are in your networks, how often you can do that, and how you can best manage it. And then we wrapped up with a couple of interesting anecdotes and experiences that Mr. Song had shared. I'm very happy to say we have one question here. A student is asking, in what ways do you tailor your resume for each application?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually build up like my resume based on different industry. I have data analytics resume. Another one is finance, more like investment resume. Another just like accounting resume, and I also have a strategy research role. Those type of resume. I'm trying to cover all industry because at the beginning I wasn't sure what's my true passion about like future after I graduate. I just know this type of those four industry. I want to get a job first, start it first, and then I just like based on that I applied. I use different keywords on like LinkedIn, Indeed, and just like refresh every 24 hours. And then by applying different keywords, and then to apply use different resume, trying to get more response from different companies. Because at the beginning, early stage, I just want to practice interview. I really don't care if I can get a job. Like I know it will cost me a certain amount of time at the beginning. It will be very easy to get a full-time job. So I can like set up a timeline for myself. Like let's say 3 months, I will spend 3 months just like actively interview with company, and then after past that, I would have more experience, and then I was able to get my dream job. Like that's kind of like my strategy.
Gotcha. So it sounds like what you did was make functional resumes towards industries.
Yeah,
Did you ever have certain roles where you tailored it even more specific to that particular job or to that particular company?
yeah,
You made changes that in those specific ways on your documents as well?
yeah. I would change my working experience
Mhm.
and maybe like a cross project, just like a target on that industry. Like for example, for data analytics, I will just like delete my finance, accounting, working experience because they don't really care about that, and then just add as much as cross project which relate to that field as I can, and then just add a few working experience based on that role. And then on the other hand, if I apply for finance industry, I will delete all my cross project. Just leave with my professional experience related to that finance industry.
Terrific, terrific. So waiting for more questions just to see if more questions come in, but continuing the piecemeal of the wrap up, it's important to understand that what Mr. Song had shared somewhere in the middle of our conversation was that he did visit the Career Center, and part of what can help for your success in achieving your networking goals, your job searching goals, and internship searching goals as well is to consult with our career advisors. So that's going to be something that's integral to your development while you're in graduate school, undergraduate, or even as an alumni once you do graduate and earn your opportunities. Very important to remember that we offer those lifetime services. We're available even during the summer for you to consult with us as well. It doesn't stop at getting a job or getting an opportunity, as Mr. Song had shared. It continues as you look to build and develop your network of contacts, which can happen over the summer as you are working on said internships. So I'll give a couple more seconds just in case one more chat message does come in for Mr. Song and I. All right, so big thanks to Mr. Alex Song for joining us today. Mr. Song, thank you very much for making the time for us. I appreciate you joining
A
and
pleasure.
giving me the opportunity to ask you so many different questions and to help us out with helping this group to navigate the summer and the rest of their time. What I would like for everybody to consider is also acknowledging Networking Club as a fantastic way to engage and get involved in campus as well. They really helped to gather many of our attendees. So consider connecting with them, consider joining their WhatsApp group for more notifications and information. Again, the Career Center is very available for you all during the summer, and we'd love to connect with you. So thank you again, Mr. Song. A round of applause for you for being able to share your time with us. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We will see you soon. Take care.